Clifford with me today, and we're going to have some fun here sharing on this live. Welcome, Kenneth.
Thank you, David. So good to be with you. Been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while, and you've been traveling all over the world, all around Europe, and then Georgia, the Middle East, and then I think you were in South America to Brazil and Colombia. So now you're in Mexico, and wow, it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, it's been amazing, really. I mean, I was reflecting on that, and really the teaching is only awareness of dreaming, and that is the bottom line of everything we do. So it really doesn't matter what I do, but it's like Jesus sends me out, and he says, I need to show you that this is an illusion, for real.
Yeah.
And that's the game, innit? That's the game that we're in. You can't say it's just an illusion while still believing in it. Yeah, you have to see it for yourself. Yeah, and to realize that you are not under the laws of this world. I am under no laws but God's. So he didn't put that lesson in there just as a joke, or I am sustained by the love of God. He says, yeah, you need to experience that for yourself. And so this has seemingly been my curriculum.
Yeah.
As our friend Lisa said the other day, you're dreaming, boy.
Yeah, that's it. And I think we just had our worship service. I think Eric mentioned that he was talking about Yiska and Greg traveling, and he said, "Oh yeah, I remember the travels because everything seems so surreal." And it's true that Jesus has to reach us with an experience that we're dreaming a dream, and that we're the dreamer of the dream. And it seems like travel through many places and countries, the faces change, the names change. It kind of all starts to be like a surreal, almost like a blur. And it seems to be that's a good experiential way where we become delocated. Like we I don't know about you, but some days I would wake up when I've been traveling and doing 2 or 3 gatherings a day for how many weeks in a row or months in a row or years in a row, then it all of a sudden I wake up in the morning and I just don't know where I'm at. And that's a good thing, because I guess the ego wants to try to keep us lulled, feeling like we're inside the dream and we're locked in time and place. And I think it uses like its past associations, its familiarity, to try to make it like a quicksand or like a sticky paper, where you look at the walls and the ego says, the same walls, the same bed, the same people. It tries to really identify us with the body. And this journey with Jesus, with divine providence and with all the movement of the images, it really loosens us from this perspective of being a person. And we start to feel like we have these vast experiences with Jesus that no one could ever imagine. but they come to free us from the body identification.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, it truly is an adventure. I remember when I got the Course in Miracles, and I'm about 4 months in, and I'm reading, and he's like, this is a death wish. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is going to take everything to undo this then. Yeah. And then the thought, God knows nothing of this world. Oh my God, how could he? How could he know about this? Oh my God. Then where is God?
Yeah.
Okay, well then I need to get there. Okay.
Where is God?
Where is God then? Okay, then I need to find my way. Yeah. I'm locked in time and space, and I'm lost. Yeah, that's right. Jesus said you're lost. My God, I need a lot of help. Yeah, you do need a lot of help. Okay, well, I think this is going to be an adventure, Jesus. Exactly. This is an adventure. And I remember it was even before I had any real experiences with the Course, but I just knew it inside. I thought, like what you said, nothing is going to be the same again. My life isn't the same again, is it? Yeah, you're onto it. It ain't going to be the same, believe you and me. And then
yeah,
that was then the start of it. And it truly is that adventure into the awareness of dreaming, which is absolutely incredible. And then, wow, what a life
yeah,
to see that. And he will just, it's like he's continuously convincing me every day. And even now I'm back in Mexico, seemingly more stationary. Yeah, as you said, that's still an illusion, that you need things to be changing as well.
yeah,
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 and it's like, no, every day should be devoted to miracles. Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
it's the fundamentals. You just devote to miracles, and miracles are available. Yeah, to show you this isn't real.
yeah, yeah. That's it. It's actually spectacular. The experiences we have, they're so vast, and it's like not a few holy encounters, but it's like hundreds and then thousands and then tens of thousands of holy encounters as you just live a devoted life. and and then the conventions of the world, which were just beliefs, all the rules of the world, all the limitations of the world, everything that seemed to be a hindrance. It's when you dive in, it's like you dive in with Jesus to take a swim a deep dive actually, and then you get way past the surface, and it gets very still in the mind when you go very deep with Jesus. And so I think it's beautiful because I know I did many, many, many tours around the world and many around Europe, even going to South Africa, and the people in South Africa saying, no, no, we can't afford the rand, the currency is so weak, we can't afford to fly you down here. I said, oh, I'll bring 3 people. Oh my God, no, please don't, and I said, oh, no, Jesus is guiding me to do a tour of 10 countries in Europe first, and then he takes care of all the everything, the expenses, the flights, travel, transportation, food, lodging. I said, just relax. And when we come down, we'll do a whole tour, 4 of us, in South Africa, all around South Africa. And then in the middle, we'll have a closing retreat. How is it going to happen? How are we going to pay for this? You don't have to think like that anymore. And I know that's something that we really have experienced, that when you really give your full devotion to God, to Jesus, to guide the way, then things just show up. And it's just more just a matter of fact. I mean, we have so many parables. I know we were talking about your trip to Georgia, how everything is arranged very specifically without any effort, but it's just in the prayer. And for us, pray and listen and follow is not a cliche. This isn't some kind of cliche thing. This is how we live. Prayer is the medium of miracles. We listen, we follow, we experience the miracles, and then we're in that miraculous state of mind, and people have their questions like how, when, where, what, and it's like, no, you don't have to worry about that. Just behold the miracle. Behold the miracle. But I know it's so convincing. That actually is what living the teachings of Jesus is really about.
Yeah, that's it. It's the power of the mind. And I love what you shared, David, because doing the retreats around the world, I get that question. I really want to come, but I can't afford it. Yeah. Now, of course, it's never about the money. Everybody's welcome. Yeah. But the first step, I always say to them, right? You need a miracle. Right? Because I can give you a gift, but you need to see the strength in your own mind. And I said, if you're meant to be there, it will be provided for you. Yeah. You can
Yeah.
still come. It doesn't make any difference, but pray to Jesus and it will be provided. Yeah. And then so many times I met this guy and I really loved it. And he was so genuine. He wrote me a really long email. He wasn't working and it was clear. It was completely genuine. Yeah. So I could have said, yeah, of course, come. Yeah. But Jesus was saying, no, he needs to understand the power of his mind. I am the way, the truth, and the life. And then he says, and you are the way, the truth, and the life. So you need to let him know that he is the way, the truth, and the life. So I said to him, pray, and it will be given to you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So he said, he just put back, thank you. So I didn't know who he was. He came to the retreat and he gave everything. As soon as any questions, he had his hand up. This has happened to me. That's happened to me. I thought, wow, this guy's really going for it. He was giving everything to it, and really good questions. Yeah, we're all going deeper with him. Thought, great. So at the end of the thing, he comes up to me. He goes, "I'm the guy," and I goes, "What guy?" He goes, "I'm the guy with no money." And I goes, "How did you get here?" He goes, "You never guess what?" I goes, "What happened?" He said, "The money." He goes, "You were right." I goes, "Right about what?" He said, "The money came the very next day."
Oh,
He said, "I got a letter through the door and I got a check through the door for the exact amount for the retreat. Thank you." And I said, "Yeah, there you go. That's the teaching. Yeah, God is with you."
yeah.
And that is everything. That's what we're demonstrating. And I think that's been the same with the travels, you know, like what you said, everything's arranged. People say to me, "Do you know where you're going next?" Or, "Yes, we know where we're going." "Well, you need to book your ticket because the prices are going up." And I say, "I'm under no laws but God's." And they're like, "No, listen, right? Prices go up." I said, "Jesus doesn't care about all of that. Yeah. He will tell me when to book it or not to book it." Yeah. And even at times, I said, they would ring me up, say, "Oh, we're coming to the retreat with you. Yeah. Do you want to get a flight?" And I goes, "No, thanks." And they go, "Why not?" I goes, "We're going by miracles." Yeah. And Jesus hasn't told me how I'm getting there. So I'll see you there. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then he takes me there. And when I get there, right, Jesus has already paved the way. And then you are that demonstration. And they said, "It cost me €250 to get here." I said, "It cost me nothing." I've just travelled. I travelled once from the top of Holland all the way down to the bottom of Spain for absolutely nothing.
Yeah, yeah. I know. These miracles are just so amazing because it really just shows that we need not take thought for anything. You know, like the promise section. You need take thought for nothing except the only purpose that you would fulfill. And that's literal. I mean, I feel like sometimes people feel, well, you know, you still have to deal with the laws of the world, but Jesus says it very clearly in the Course that if you'll work miracles for me, if you'll let me work miracles through you, is a better way of saying it, then I will arrange time and space for you. And that's one of those beautiful kind of metaphors in the Course of like what he was teaching 2,000 years ago. Take no thought for what you should wear, what you should eat. Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all else will be added unto you. It's really the same teaching. It doesn't matter whether people are quoting the Bible with Jesus or A Course in Miracles. It's the same presence. It's the same orchestration where we can be carefree and cast our care upon Him, for He careth for you. That's what we see every day. So how beautiful. And it's fun for me because I was doing this for so many years, and then I've had a kind of a restful period over the last 5 years with a few little travels, but mainly working closely with the community after a lot of gallivanting to 6 continents, and Francis and I going all over to many, many countries. But now this is kind of a momentum starting up a little bit, maybe because mainly the focal point was Spain, and I know you have actually those Spain events. You and I are trying to keep track of them all, but actually that has been a focal point. That's kind of been the initial invitation to go over there, and then there may be a couple quick little flights in there for a quick evening gathering as well. One in south of Paris and one in Cologne, Germany. But yeah, and you've had quite a few miracles with Spain. I remember it wasn't too long ago we were talking, and you were talking about a little town that was in the mountains in Spain, and they were using kind of the family constellations, but through prayer, mystical kind of use of the past, of constellations, to see the patterns and to set the mind free, set the mind free from those. So you've got a lot of friends all over Europe, but in Spain you've you've been there with Anna and with Nana. So you've had everything from up to the mountains, mystical experiences. One time you were in a hospital and Anna was there, and Jesus has really opened your heart and opened your mind with a lot of these Spain miracles, Spain visits.
Absolutely. Yeah, you know, it's like Jesus is the best salesman, yeah, because he never said, "This is a course in guilt. Please take notes." Right. He said, "This is a course in miracles. Please take notes." Yeah, and it's like so much guilt. That's what I'm seeing now. There was so much guilt, so much fear, and then seemingly these travels have really helped me with that. You know, going to these doctors, for example. I was in the hospital. I had like this bad stomach, and Anna, I'm normally like, okay, it's fine, just forget about it. But Anna could see that I wasn't good. Yeah, she said like, you're not good. I'm like, really? I felt perfectly fine. No, you need to go. And it was really facing myself, yeah, my like vulnerability, yeah, of like letting that mask go, and then just being completely frightened like an 8-year-old, and then just crying my eyes out in the middle of a hospital, yeah, in front of all the nurses. I'm in a corridor, I'm crying, but it was so liberating. Yeah, right. I knew it wasn't about what was happening. It was like I just needed to let something drop away, yeah. And it was like, oh, thank you, Jesus, thank you, yeah. Like you don't have to hold it together. And that was incredible. That happened in Spain. And then, yeah, the miracle in the mountains was actually incredible. We got this really interesting invite in the middle of the mountains, in the middle of nowhere. I didn't even know it. We had to drive off track, yeah, and it was really going up. The car that we had was really like struggling. Our friend with us had come on a miracle trip, and like, so she was on an adventure and she wanted to trust. Yeah, be careful what you wish for. Yeah, her car's like really like struggling. It's like, yeah, this is the time for trust, and this is the adventure. We're in the middle of nowhere. There's a well where you get water. Yeah, the accommodation is really not nice, but it makes no difference. I couldn't care less. Yeah, we're there to serve. Yeah, it made no difference. I didn't even see it, to be honest. Yeah, me and Anna were just up there sharing. Our friends that was there, the bed's terrible. And they're all talking in Spanish around us. So I don't really know. So thank God. But we're just there, and that was the demonstration for everybody. Wow, they really don't care about the circumstance. Well, I've been asked to share the love of God. So I mean, there's nothing else going on other than I've been invited here. And it was incredible, actually, because I met my friend Jan there, yeah, and he saw this little flyer, didn't know anything about the Course in Miracles, didn't know. He said, I have to be there. He gets in his little car and he drives up this mountain. I mean, off the track, you're like half an hour going up with all these holes and everything. Yeah. He gets there. Me and Anna are sitting there and we just start sharing, and his mouth is like this. And I'm thinking he's either having an amazing time, he's either bored out of his mind. I couldn't really read what was happening to him yet. It's very, very hard. So we did the first session, we had a break, and then we did the second session, and then finally at the end we asked questions. And our friend that was with us, she was amazing. She opened up and just cried and just was like, oh my God, I'm just so selfish. I'm just thinking about myself, yeah. And it has nothing to do with that. And she just cried and cried and cried. We were like, praise the Lord. And then he puts his hand up, and I'm like, yes, great. Okay, let's get into whatever's going on with him. And he goes, yes, yes. And he goes, Jesus has been standing between you and Anna for the whole time in light. Praise the Lord. And he said, I had given up hope and I've been angry for so long, and now I know Jesus is back. Thank you. Oh my God, thank you. Yeah. So we had no idea where we were going after this, nothing. Yeah, I'm in the middle of Spain with nowhere to go whatsoever. And he said, do you want to come back to my house? I go, yeah, absolutely. So we go down there, and that's when I met Jan and Leif. And they do family constellation, but they do it in an amazing way. Yeah, I didn't know this at the time. I'd been there like several times now, and then they asked me, would you like to be a part of it? We'd really love you to be there. I said, yeah, absolutely, let's do it. And they do it all completely in silence, yeah? And so we all sit around the edge. Who wants to do the constellation? this woman was like raring to go. Yeah, she said, "There's so many secrets in my family. Oh, it's just affecting everyone. Okay, yeah, this seems like it's you." And we did this constellation, and so basically they says, okay, a little bit of the story. The good thing was I couldn't understand because she was Dutch, so I couldn't completely get the story, and it didn't matter. And this whole thing just took off. This release, you could just feel, oh my God, it was happening. I ended up playing. He said, "Okay, you be the grandfather." I just went in there and just started crying. Yeah. And then like I went to the seeming right ones and we like offered forgiveness in silence. We're all crying in love, and it's just like this
Yeah.
whole forgiveness. And then the woman, no one was into Jesus, no one spoke about Jesus, and the woman's going, "Thank you, Jesus, thank you, Jesus." Like, it was like obvious. And the incredible thing was, as as the thing was going on, her phone rang, but she didn't answer it because it was her daughter. Yeah, so she just turned the phone off. She said, it was like we were like a quarter of the way through it. Her brother, who she hadn't spoke to in like 20 years, was trying to call her in that instant, and it was like, wow, this is incredible. An actual fact with Leaf, my friend, she came, and we met my other friend Andreas, yeah, and we gave her a new concept. She said, "Oh my God, this is amazing, yeah." So what we did, we transformed it into a Course in Miracles, which I loved, yeah. All in silence, they use the music, the energy goes up, yeah. And then if it's your constellation, you're sitting on the edge, yeah, and you're watching the constellation. And my friend Andreas Schultz, he says to them near to the end, and he says, "This was all your idea. Let it go." Oh my God, this was all you. It's
Yeah,
over.
yeah,
Release it.
yeah.
And it
It's
was like,
over.
oh my God, it was incredible. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that was in the mountains of Spain, just out of nothing. I've made incredible contacts. I mean, honestly, if I rang them up now, they'd say, "Yes, let's do a retreat now."
Yeah, yeah.
Like, it's just there.
Lifelong,
And
lifelong friends.
that's it. It's just that connection, yeah. And like when I saw them do this constellation in this silence, they said, "Yeah, that like Jesus, call it whatever, is doing the work, and it's immense what they're doing. It's
Yeah, yeah,
incredible. It's beautiful."
yeah.
And because I know you're going to be in the mountains, David. You're going to be in Barcelona, near
Barcelona.
Montserrat, and I
Yeah.
believe that's a monastery.
Well, we're going to be at a monastery, not at Montserrat, but another
Yeah.
monastery that's about an hour and a half outside of Barcelona. So that'll be very mystical to be there with all the brothers and everybody that's there. I think the other thing about Spain too is it has a history, with Saint John of the Cross, Saint Teresa. It's a history of saints and mystics. My friend Susana Ortiz, who's a very much of a mystical teacher of A Course in Miracles, she's based in Spain as well, and that's where I met her, and she's traveled with me to South America. Did some translating in the early years at Columbia, but it's like. And even the gatherings that we have coming up in Spain, each one has a miraculous story around it because Javier is my host in the first event on the 19th and 20th, the weekend workshop event. And Javier, I met him. He flew all the way across from Spain, from Malaga, to come to Mexico for one of our retreats at La Casa de Milagros, and then the retreat was a very brief weekend retreat. And the Monday morning, I said, if anybody wanted to come to the mall for breakfast, we had a bunch of people. He showed up there. He was just shining, sharing, witnessing, and then he said, "Oh, gotta go, gotta leave the breakfast, gotta fly back." So he flew all the way from Malaga, Spain, to our little retreat in La Casa and back, and he's the host. And for me, he's like the Tony Robbins of En Curso de Milagros. He has got such a vibrant light that he can do big events, and people are in tears. He kind of does level 1, level 2, level 3, depending on where they are. So he works with people wherever they seem to be, if they're brand new to spirituality or not. And then he's going to be the host. So I think when we get there, at the beginning of that gathering, he's just going to introduce me and interview me. So that'll be an interesting start
Amazing.
there on a Saturday. And then the next event, which comes up on the 25th, 26th, 27th, is with our friends Jenny and Barrett and Awaken to Love. And they have a center over there in Nerja, and it's going to be a little more of a retreat vibe, because it will be a Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And you know how it goes with retreats. The more time we have to be there intimately and just praying and being together, it's very, very transformative. So that's one. And then the following weekend, actually, it's going to start on the 31st and then run all the way through the 4th. So it'll be basically 4.5, 5-day retreat. But that's at a monastery we were just mentioning outside of Barcelona. So that's even longer stretch of time there to come together. And a lot of people from our community, Marina, Anna will be over there and supporting Amanda, Micah, Jenny, Barrett. Javier has a whole team. He actually was guided by Jesus to start a company and do all the things that companies do, pay taxes and do all this, because he's really working with a lot of people at different seeming levels, just new coming in, level 1, level 2, 3, he calls it. But it's just kind of a nice mix of holy encounters. And like you were just saying, all you do is you show up in Christ's love and Christ's presence, and the lesson's always our own. It's a lesson in our mind of complete alignment and letting go. And it's like like in Charlie Brown, there was Linus with the blanket, and then there was Pigpen, who had a cloud of dust always around him. But it's like we feel like there's like a field of extending, radiating miracles that is coming through us, that wherever we go, of course there's healings, of course there's tears and laughter, of course, at each place I go, I'm going to do a movie gathering too. So I know you and Nana have been using the symbol of movies, because it's so helpful. They're like the modern day parables. And so we'll have a movie at each place, and also probably some experiential things, which, that's a big thing. Even Greg and Yiska were just talking about how they went out and they started sharing from the heart and doing experientials, and people were like, whoa, what is this? It's like, it's very different than just studying a book or studying a scripture. It's actually getting into the living experience of it. And there can't be anything more important than the living experience. That's everything.
Yeah, you just reminded me, David. Actually, there was a beautiful combination of healing between us. You played a movie while you were here. I can't remember what it was called now, about Germany, escaping from Germany.
Escape from Germany, yeah.
And I was in Switzerland, and it brought up a lot of stuff, because we had our German friends, Swiss friends, Austrian friends there. And then the conversation came up. Yeah, but we can't forgive Hitler.
So that became the focal point right there.
Yeah, that became it, yeah. And then it was beautiful, because it said, and then we had the Germans said, they put their hands up and said, we've done so many terrible things, yeah. And they shared their thoughts, yeah, all around it all, how terrible they are, yeah. And I said, do you want to know the answer, right? And they go, yeah. I goes, this is specialness. You think you're so special. You're so guilty. And you're so special with your special guilt. And they were like, what? I said, you're no special than anyone else. And then we went on with it. And then there's, well, what about Hitler? Right? You are Hitler. If you believe in Hitler, you are Hitler.
The victim and the victimizer, the specialness of playing a role.
They said, but we need to forgive Hitler, yeah? So I said, yeah, absolutely. He did nothing wrong. They're like, really? And I said, yeah, he did us all a favour. He showed the hatred in the mind. He really helped us out big time. He's like, wow, that's incredible. So we got half the group to stand in one line over this side, half the group on that side, and everyone could choose what their deepest healing was and to go towards your higher self, yeah? So we went along the line, and then this final guy, I knew he was going to do it. And he said, I don't know whether I need to forgive myself or Hitler. Yeah. And I said, what do you really want to do? And he said, yeah, I need to forgive Hitler. I said, okay, you do that. And they did. And I played really intense music. Okay, let's turn it up a bit. Yeah. And they went towards one another. And the friend who was on the opposite side of seemingly Hitler, right, had to embrace Hitler. Yeah. Oh my. So she didn't realize at that moment, but once it was all set up, oh my God, now I've got to embrace Hitler into my heart. And they did it. And you take step by step. It can take hours. Yeah.
Yeah.
The fear and everything. And I tell you, they got into each other's arms and they cried for God knows how long. Yeah, just crying on each other. That okay, this is amazing. And my friend was they were transformed by it completely. And seeing, oh my God, it was as we shared, the idea was in my own mind. I said, yeah, exactly. You have to release it within yourself to see that it's not real. Wow, it was incredible. So there was like this combination of you playing this movie, and then it evoked all these past things with people as part of that, as being children, as part of the seemingly like war. It's like, yeah, we got to let it all go. And it's kind of hilarious because there's me, I'm a seemingly Englishman, yeah, and then I'm in the middle of the whole thing.
An Englishman facilitating the forgiveness of Hitler. I
Yeah.
think I was in Colombia one time. I went off to a mountain with retreat with a whole group of mostly women from Colombia outside of Cali. And we were there and we were doing all kinds of sessions and some experientials. And then I just prayed to Jesus and I said, what do you want me to do? And he said, a day of silence. Because these women were all real talkers. They would talk nonstop 24/7. But I said, okay, we're going to do a day of silence. Not a full day, but a partial day of silence, maybe 3/4 day of silence. And looked like they were going to just burst. Like it was facing so much intensity of not talking, of just being in the mountains and facing their fears and doubts. And then in the evening I said, okay, now you'll be able to speak, but first we're going to watch a movie. It was the Last Sin Eater. Was all about no more guilt. You know how intense that one is, and the same thing happened. It was like tears and crying and a huge emotions coming out. It was like an explosion of healing emotions that were kind of repressed and buried underneath. But then the day of silence and the movie popped everything through. And I think, for people even maybe watching our live who are new to all this, they're like, what is he talking about? Forgiving Hitler. But basically, Jesus is teaching us only gratitude and full appreciation is due to your brother for his love and for his calls for love, because both are capable of bringing love into your awareness. That's the forgiveness. If we can go past the attack thoughts and the grievances and the judgments of the past, then we come to the innocence of the present moment and eternity, and where everyone's set free, because we're just letting go of the whole construct, the whole linear construct. So I think this is so powerful, because this is the difference between just conceptualizing Jesus into opening our hearts up to the agape love, to the actual presence of Jesus. I know you were also invited to the German festival by our friend Andre Prohl, and I just love when you shared how you really didn't know what to expect at all. You didn't know if you would know anybody there, maybe except Andre, and then you and Nana went there, and it was extraordinary. It was another way where the Spirit, Jesus was just using the whole conference to go deep into prayer. I think a lot of it, you said you were like in silence. It was very different from many other gatherings you did, but you went into such a deep silence, and then there was so many tears. People were gazing and eye gazing, and this whole large group of hundreds of people were going through like a catharsis, all healing because of the prayer of Jesus, just giving it all over. So how powerful in Germany, Switzerland, Austria, these kind of areas. It's like those areas are more famous for, the precedings of the world wars and what happened. They're kind of known around the world, like the Middle East is. But actually, it's not a matter of place or location. It's just a matter of how willing are we to let go of the hurt. And let go of the pain, and really let go of the death wish. We have to admit we've been a death worshiper, trying to play it out as a human being, as if we could play a middle ground, and it's not working. We have to be completely free of guilt in order to feel consistent joy.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I was just thinking, actually, that's what a retreat is all about, isn't it? That's why we do that. That's why we love it. We want to come together, and we're here to free one another. And then you were just reminding me, it actually brought tears to my eyes, because when I went to that festival, I really didn't know what it was about, and seemingly I was one of the speakers. So on the very first day, they said, "Oh, could all of the speakers come up one by one?" They called us up, and we just share a little bit of who we are and why we're here. And then I got up there. I was actually pretty frightened. There's like 300 people. It's like, okay, this really isn't my life, but this is Jesus' life. I don't want to be standing in front of 300 people, to be honest. Get up there. That's what Jesus, you're going. Okay, fine. Yeah, I surrender. And I stood up there, and I remember I closed my eyes and I just waited. Okay, Jesus, why am I here? And then he said to us very clearly, this isn't a festival. We are here to offer salvation to one another. And that is what these join-ins are all about. It's not about some teaching sessions and going here and going there. No, every one of us is responsible for offering salvation to your brother right now, in this very instant. And that's what I offer to you all now. And that's what I offer always. Yeah. And then really that just set up the whole thing. And truly, Nana and I, we didn't feel like we were doing anything. And then Jesus was coming to bringing whoever it needed to come. And then they're just crying in front of you. Because like I desire the presence above everything else. And whoever wants to join within that, and whatever anyone needs is down to Jesus. We don't know what needs to be healed within someone, how someone needs to be touched, but you're just completely available for him. And then that's how it happens. So we have to, this is what I shared actually for a long time on the travels. You have to be available, yeah? So when you go to a retreat as a participant, you have to be available for healing. I was thinking about actually the first one-on-one I had with you, David. Yeah, it was intense because like my desire had like really came up, and it was incredible because you actually were out of town, and they told me, sorry, he really wanted to have this one-on-one with you, right? But he's miles away. Right, the next minute you appeared. Jesus collapsed time and space, and they go, David's here. How did this happen? You were like hours away, and then you were there, and then we sat down, and you said to me, okay, what do you want? And then I remember I just sat there, and awakening is everything, yeah. And I said, I just want to awaken, and I just cried like that. And you said, wow, the desire's really high. And like you just were flickering in and out of existence, yeah, right? Finally, like you disappeared, yeah. And I'm like, where the hell am I? And you said, all I heard, and I'm crying, yeah. And it's just this intense like power of glory because we joined in the
Yeah.
holy instant. And you said, wow, just expect miracles. Well, for the next 3 months, it was like I was the dreamer of the dream. Right, people were ringing me up. I remember this circumstance. It was like my mind had shifted, yeah, just from this instance. This is what can happen at a retreat, yeah. For 3 months, I thought, oh my God, I thought I was enlightened, I have to admit it. Good old pride got hold of me. I'm there, I've made it. Oh my God, I'm the dreamer in the dream.
Through the fire of pride.
I would literally, I had these experiences, yeah, like where the phone would ring and I wouldn't know who it was, yeah, and I would pick up and Jesus would tell me before I picked up the phone what to say to this person. I would tell them and they would burst out crying on the phone. And I'd say, thank you very much. I didn't even find out why they were calling me. Bye, put the phone down.
Talk about being a channel, just a vehicle. That's surrendered.
So that's it. So that's what I'm saying. That's what we do when we meet. Yeah, we desire it. So this is we are calling you out of the world. That's what Jesus. I'm calling you out of the world. That's why you appeared within my dream. That's why we're appearing to one right now. I thought, what's this talk about? I said, I'm just going to go and offer David salvation. What else can I do? We just join in that. There's nothing else really going on. And it's like you've got these 3 like major retreats turning up, and for me it's like when I was doing that, when I was going to all the retreats, I couldn't get enough of it. I'm like, okay, the next one. When are we going to get the next teacher over here? Like what you were saying. My friend said, I haven't got any money. Don't worry about the money. She says she wants a flight and she wants a hotel. Get her the flight, get her the hotel. Let's get her over here. Let's have a weekend together. And I started to realize, forget about all those things, yeah. Forget about that. How am I going to get to Spain? Who cares? Just say yes. It will be revealed to you. You don't have to think like that any longer, yeah. You just say yes to that. That's how I got to Finland. I was in the middle of Lapland. The Lord came. I don't even know how I got to Lapland.
I know it.
And it happens because you want it.
Oh my gosh, that was. I saw you there in Andre's. All You Need Is Love movie up there, and Greg and Jenny. And the thing about it is, here you've been doing like psychotherapy in England, and then before you know it, you're in the dark nights and days of Lapland in northern Finland, a silent retreat. And that's the thing people don't understand, is that when you really pray to God for help, then the circumstances will show up to help you break out of the self-concept, out of the personality self, out of the pride, and you never see it coming. It's like you don't know what the left hand is doing. The right hand doesn't know what the left hand is doing, because there's such an undoing. And I think that's so beautiful, because I did talk to Frances after her last whim was to take this beautiful trip to Australia and to Japan. And when she got back, I sat down with her and we talked, and she said, because initially she was wondering about going, and I said, just start flinging the seeds and say you're going to be traveling to these countries. And then people came from all over the place just to be in her presence. And what she felt the most was that people were struggling practicing A Course in Miracles, that they were reading the book and they were asking all the questions more from the surface and from the intellectual perspective, and that they were hurting, and that they came to see her and they were crying out, please, it's been so difficult for us to practice this. Please, we've been at this for years. We are praying for help. We need a breakthrough. And she could feel the prayer of the heart on that trip to Australia and to Japan. And I feel like that's what these retreats are. They offer like a deep, kind of an incubator, a safe space of love and miracles to go through huge catharsis, huge breakthroughs, huge transformations. It's so different from just attempting an intellectual understanding of the Course, because the Course is aimed at an experience. It's not aimed at an intellectual understanding. That's just people read a book that has that word course on it, and they think I got to intellectually get this before I can experience it, but the understanding goes with the experience. Peace and understanding go together and cannot be found apart. So you have to really give up the desire to find a box for the course or find a box for Jesus. There is no box that Jesus fits in. And God can't be defined. So people usually ask me, the first question is, define God. And it's like, I laugh. It's like, what, you're asking for a definition of that which is undefinable. But you can experience God, but you can't define it. So you're not going to put God in a box or Jesus in a box. So what a gift, what an honor to finally just give oneself full permission and allowance to say, I want an experience. And that's how our first one-on-one went, where you just, I want to wake up, and then boom, and then boom, I was flickering in and out, and you were like, what is going on? But that's the power of prayer. When you really say yes to God, like, I will not run from you anymore. I'm just going to say yes, and I'll go wherever. I'll do whatever. Or like the Brandon Lake song, I'm running to the light. It does feel like we're running to the light now. We're in a sprint.
Yeah.
A full-on sprint.
Yeah, that's it. And I mean, that's the beautiful thing about saying yes to these retreats, because it's also not just about the retreat, it's about getting to the retreat, it's about meeting others. You don't know who you're supposed to meet there or why you're supposed to be in that place, but you're being called, And of course, the ego would say all these things to me. You can't have that time off of work. This is too expensive. This is too far away. Well, it's got all of its things, It's your mum's birthday, all of that business. What the hell are you doing? It's got all of these ideas around why not, but something calls you for that retreat, and I love that word retreat. And what you were talking about earlier, David, is like, we need an experience outside of the confinement of our life. I need to step away to find myself for thousands of years. That's why the yogis lived in the caves and everything like that. Okay, I need this time for myself. And then that's what's been offered, as you said, like an incubator, to truly, there's nothing else going on other than you and God, and to experience something new in these incredible settings. I just thought I'd read them out to everybody to get them excited. So the first retreat is in Malaga. How to allow God to touch your life. And that's with your friend, what's his name, Javier, was it?
Javier, yes.
Javier. That's the 19th and the 20th in Malaga, sunny Malaga. Okay. So there's a little adventure there for you to get down there. And then the next one is do not see error. What error?
That's good.
Okay, we just solved that one. What error? And that's in Torrox, and that's near Malaga again, 25th, 27th of October. And then you're going to be in the mountains of Barcelona, incredible, near Montserrat. So apparently Mother Mary was spotted there, so we're in good company. And that's from the theory to practice, and that's the 31st to the 4th of November.
Yeah.
So if you feel that in your heart, you're being called, you're hearing this right now, and something is saying, oh my God, I want to get there, And this happened to me. We talk about the Finland thing. I met Jenny, actually. Jenny's going to be in the second one with David, Do Not Sierra, in Torrox. And I knew that I was going to Finland, and I didn't have the money. But Jesus said, you're going. And I was like, how is this working? And this was my next convincing. Jesus, I was having so much time off work. I was a therapist. And it's like, no, you can't keep leaving your clients and all that lot. But I'd been doing so much of the Course in Miracles. So, well, we just expect miracles. I mean, I was so naive, but also in my naivety, everything was happening. I thought, well, Jesus says if I'm experiencing miracles, then everyone's experiencing
Yeah.
miracles. So
Yeah.
it must be a miracle for them. I'm going, yeah. So I was going away for months at a time. I'm earning no money, but everything always came. Everything always happened. I meet Jenny. She says, yeah, we're going to Lapland. Looks at all the flights. I had to get 2 flights, go to Helsinki and then to Lapland. In total, the whole thing was going to cost me 2,000 euros. My God, I haven't got it. I said, but I think I'm going to be there. Jenny said, I think you're going to be there. She said, pray. So this is it. And I thought, yeah, I really want that. So I prayed this final night. I never forget it. I can see myself doing it. I got to my hallway. There's the light in the hallway. I said, well, Jesus, if you're going to make this happen, you better hurry up because the clock's ticking. Yeah. Turned off my light. The next day, I woke up in the morning. I had no work. And I went to the Krishnamurti Centre, which was just 4 miles away. I was very blessed to have that on the doorstep. Lovely, peaceful place. And I sat there all day long in silent meditation. That place is amazing, yeah? And I sat there in meditation. And I never, ever do this. And all of a sudden, my mum and dad came to my mind. He said, go and visit your mum and dad. I never do that. They always really invite me. Do you want to come to dinner? I say yes or no. He said, Jesus said, go and see your mum and dad, right? So they live 20 miles away from me. So I got in the car, right, and I drove there, but it's like 8 o'clock at night. So that normally doesn't happen. I just wouldn't turn up. I go ding dong at the door, and they go, who the hell's that? What are you doing here? I came to see you. But they see that I was happy, yeah? 3 months ago, they'd given my sister £2,000 because she wanted to get her garden done, and they wanted to give to me, but I was so prideful at the time, I'd always say, I don't need your money. I don't need anything from you, yeah? But now I'm into miracles, you see.
Yeah.
I need all the help I can get. So they goes, wow. And so they told me, they went into the kitchen, they said, he's in a really good mood. Okay, let's offer the gift to him. So they go, do you want a cup of tea? I said, yeah, I'd love a cup of tea. I'm sitting in the front room waiting. My dad comes marching in, and because he was thinking that we were going to have a little bit of a battle, and he goes, this is for you. Yeah, really like forcefully, this is for you. There's no question. I goes, thank you. He's shocked. Thank you. I take it with 2 hands like this. And I go, I undo it. There's a check for £2,000. It's a miracle, I say.
Yeah.
And they goes, are you happy? I goes, I'm going to Finland. And they goes, wow, we're so glad you're happy, yeah? And it's like anything can land in your lap. That was Jesus saying, I'm taking care of everything, yeah? It was just to convince you, it's not about the money, who cares? But it's like, yeah, you want to go, you're going, yeah? And it's the same with this. Oh my God, it's in the middle of Barcelona. It's how am I going to get there? Jesus, you're going, yeah? And I'll tell you, you will get there. And that's the amazing thing, how I got there. I slept in an airport. I did also, and it's like out of time, you know, you're just like, oh my God, what's happening in my life? And that's like the incredible thing. You know, you can have a journey down to Malaga. By the time you get there, you're already experiencing a miracle because you've stepped out of your comfort zone. I'm going. I am doing this. And that's what happened for me each time. It was like, turned up. How are you going to get there? Oh my God, it always turned into something like incredible. And then those ones who are meant to meet, you know, I'm still friends with them around the world. Yeah, it's incredible. When I go back to Spain, all my friends from years ago, I came to the community. I hadn't been in Spain for 6 years. Then as soon as I was coming, they all came and met me. And it's just like, unbelievable. Yeah, we really, really don't know what our true function is. So these retreats are everything.
Yeah, I know we're part of a very deep community, and I know years ago I didn't even know what community was. If somebody had asked me, I would say, what is that? But and I'm sure you growing up with your parents, you know, we were kind of clueless about these things, but I do know it's almost like it kind of evolved out of the travels and all these deep holy encounters with people in their living rooms and backyards and basements and so forth, and then let's do a retreat. So sometimes 1, 2, 3 nights, 4 nights or something. And you know my story, it went on into Spain. Okay, I'm getting the guidance to do a 4 week, a month-long retreat, and then from traveling around Europe, I took all the money that I had from different denominations, got it changed, gave it to a friend named Lynn when I was on the island of Majorca, and I said, "Here's a down payment for a villa during the off season, like fall, late fall. Here's a down payment for it," and I thought, looks like I'm doing a 4 week retreat. Well, that was followed up by 6 week retreats, lots of them. So they were in Majorca. So it's interesting that Spain again, these 4 and then 6 week retreats, and then we called them mystery schools. The one that Frances made her movie out of was, I think, a 4 week mystery school. But that's kind of like community living just grew, almost like there were seeds there, and then we watered the seeds, and out of the prayer of the heart, these deep, long, intimate times together of living together. It wasn't just take a few notes and hop back on the plane and leave. It was like, okay, who's doing the kitchen? Well, there's a garden over here. Who's going to do the garden? Who's going to clean? Who's going to do this? Who's going to tend to the swimming pool? Whatever was there. And very much, it's interesting that that's kind of how the fruit grew from those seeds of just prayer, of just, Jesus, I don't know the way to you, but you do know the way. And I'm going to pray and pray and pray and listen and follow. And then these things emerged. Even you being on the road with Anna, then on the road with Nana, and then now it's literally a garden. It's like Eileen Katie. You're there with the plants, and that's the backdrop for spiritual awakening. And then all the mighties join in. They feel your spark with the seeds and the little plants and the soil, and it's the same thing. It's giving yourself over. You were doing psychotherapy. You didn't think you'd be down in Mexico with gardens and all kinds of plants and fruit and vegetables and everything springing up around you. But that's very symbolic of how when you say yes to God, everything is taken care of. You don't make the plants grow. You're actually shocked when you put the seeds in, and 2 days later they start shooting up. Mostly people wait a week, but it's like there's so much orchestration and so much energy and vibration in following God. It's just so strong. So I just think it's good because sometimes people have stereotypes of community or retreats. We didn't plan any of this. I didn't plan this. You didn't plan really to go to Lapland. That just came as this is what you're doing. And that's the way it went for me every step. This is what you're doing. Okay, I'm in. I'm there, I'll show up. And then everything is taken care of without our effort. It's just, it is miraculous. Miracles are actually, every day, like you said at the beginning, every day should be devoted to miracles. And then also miracles are natural. When they do not occur, something has gone wrong. That's a big flip from seeing miracles as these once in a million extraordinary little occurrences, but we're talking daily miracles. Not a day goes by where we don't have lots of miracles, and I think that's why people enjoy inviting us, because we're in the miracle. We're like extending the miracle so strongly and radiating it that they're like, I like that vibe. I think I want to come closer, and it's God. It's not Kenneth or David. It's God. God is so powerful, and God is reaching us in any way, shape, or form that we can be reached. So, wow.
Yeah. I was just remembering a story actually, David, that did involve you that I've never shared. And you were talking about Majorca, and my friend Steve was at the Majorca retreat when everybody, I always love this story, and you said, okay, everybody, they said, we're really up for the healing, David, we really want it. So you sat back, okay, you're really up for it. We got 6 weeks here. He said, okay, here's your prayer, bring it on. Yeah, right. And then the first one went, bring it on, right?
Yeah.
And then they all went around and they went, bring it on, right? They all went round. But my mate Steve was at that retreat, yeah. He was in the bring it on. Then cancer was being healed. The
Yeah.
lame were walking.
Yeah. Yeah. It must be.
The whole thing was happening, yeah. And I tell you what, my friend Steve, he came back after that retreat. We were retreat hopping at that time, yeah. And I met him at the airport. He just finished that retreat, and we were going to another retreat together. Yeah, right? And I met him at the airport. And as I walked into the airport, I saw him. He was glowing in light. Yeah. And I didn't know he'd been actually at that time because we were just meeting at Stansted Airport in the UK. And I goes, what the hell happened to you? He goes, I've just been to a retreat in New York with David Hoffmeister, and it was like that seed that was planted in my mind. I thought, and he was filled with joy. I thought, what happened to him? You know,
Mm.
that's what I want, yeah. And he was that witness to the miracle in my own mind, yeah. And then of course, then we jumped on these other things. So it's like when we put ourselves out there, we start to see it. Like now, I'm only seeing it as that witness. It was just like, wow, okay, he's had a great time. Let's move on. But now it wasn't. That was like
Yeah.
part of every. You know, it's all part of everything. We don't know why we have to meet these ones, and they were at that retreat, and then obviously I hear like the major stories and the major miracles, and it's like, wow, I really, really want to be a part of that, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's incredible. So thank you for that, David.
Yeah.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you,
Yeah.
everybody, for putting their hands up and saying, bring it on, because that was part of my transformation, and I wasn't even there, you know.
Yeah.
And that's the incredible thing. It's just this
Yeah.
ripple effect that just keeps going, and everyone is the way. If you're doing a course in miracles, you are a witness to God. And if you're turning up at a retreat, it's like, now I'm not turning up to get anything. I mean, before I was like wanted to get something, get enlightenment or whatever. But now when you go, you turn up literally as the light. You know, you are the light bringer, and you don't know what your function is there, who you're supposed to meet just to aid in the great awakening. So I'm just like, wow, count me in.
Yeah. 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 I know recently when you came back from Europe too, we had a talk, and you were just sharing a lot of the things that happened. But I think you were calling me too because our friend Andres Prol was looking at arranging a couple conferences or festivals. I think they're called, over one in Germany and one in the UK.
Yeah.
And both of us had been to those places, and it's just been totally miraculous. And Andre is such a big-hearted miracle worker. It's just amazing what he's let be done through him. But we also talked about, you said, well, after that festival in Germany, Nana and I got a lot of invitations, and you said to me, you know, there's actually some seeds of community that are starting to. You can feel them in Germany because of these profound gatherings, retreats that had happened, and also in the Netherlands, in Holland, where we have our friend Irma and
Daniel.
and there's Daniel, and there's, I think I went there many times. One time I went there, and there was a singer who'd been in contact with me while I was traveling Europe, Netta Bowen, and then she came to the gathering, and I said, well, do you sing in front of everybody? There was, I don't know, 150 people there. But now, that's years ago, now I think we're starting to see the seeds. So it starts with these intimate kind of retreats. And then people start to question, why am I holding on to this routine of the world? Why am I holding on to the rules of the world? I need to really open to miracles, which is what you did at the beginning. That's how you made it to Lapland, and then way beyond that. But it starts off with this spark, this seed in your heart where miracles are here for me. They're being offered. And then you start to feel an activation. So it's kind of interesting to see what will unfold. I do feel like this trip, for me, going to Spain and doing these events is something that's very strong in my heart. And then to go up just south of Paris Adrienne, and
Yeah.
Jean Wilmot, and there's kind of a little spark and flurry there, and the big, beautiful house you were just talking about, the gardens, as a
Yeah.
matter of fact, Adrienne's gardens, and
Mm.
and then and then over to Cologne,
Wow.
where Tamra is,
Mm.
and Tamra's connected to all those
Mm.
experiences with Nana and her mother, and
Mm.
because she's from Georgia too,
Torture.
and there's so many miracles that have happened there. So the last I heard, she was maybe looking into a nearby evangelical church. Started off as
Love
a
it.
gathering in her house, but who knows what Jesus has got going there. But it's just beautiful because that's that communion with God feeling. It's really the prayer of the heart is for communion with God, with Jesus, with the Lord, and then everything is just takes off from there.
Yeah.
It's not planned by a human being.
Mm.
It's just we're witnesses
Yeah.
of it. We're dreaming it, and we're witnessing amazing unification, amazing integration, amazing healing,
Mm.
wholeness happening in the mind. Our one mind is recognizing itself,
Mm.
and our heart is bursting open. So, what an honor, really, to be a part of it. To just give yourself over to it and go, wow, I am amazed at what I behold.
Mm.
Thank you, God, for convincing me that love is real,
Yeah.
and really that only love is real. I was playing that song the other day on
I
one of
love
my
it.
lives, Carole King.
Mm.
Only love is real. Everything else illusion. It's just the proof is in the experience.
Yeah, that's the only reason. That's the only message underneath everything, that you are loved.
Yeah,
And if you don't feel that you're loved, I will convince you. That's just Jesus's message. I'm here now, and I'm never going to leave you, and I love you.
yeah,
And when the time is ready for you to take it in, it's here now.
yeah,
And that's incredible. Actually, that's what I feel about Europe. Actually, it's incredible. I'm so grateful that you're going there. It feels like there's so much energy going towards um, Europe right now. Me and Nana were there for like a
yeah,
year
yeah,
now. Anna and Marina are there, and now you've got this invite. And just each time I was there, it's like this boiling pot of awakening. Yeah, just this hunger and this thirst was incredible. Yeah, and it's like, wow, this is amazing. This is really the place to be. I was actually telling Daniel, yeah, our friend Daniel, I said, hey, listen, you need to be inviting teachers here because like it's going off. I'm telling you, this is your function. You're brilliant at it. Yeah,
yeah,
like
yeah,
do that. I can feel like the hunger. I said because if I was here and that's what I'll be doing. You can really feel it wherever you go. There's a complete shift, a desire. Like wow, you can just feel that there's more. There's more than this, and it's like their time. It's like the rocket is literally going up. And I could just feel that, and it's just incredible. I feel so blessed with all the ones I've met to be a part of that, yeah. And in a way, they seem to become like to thank me, but I'm the one that's so grateful because they share their miracles, yeah. They share what they've been through, their experiences, yeah. And then we're experiencing miracles together through their desire. And I'm just like, thank you, Jesus. Jesus is available to us all when we join in that. So that's the pleasure. Like when we go, Jesus, it's all for me. That's the incredible thing. So when we seemingly have a retreat, I sit there and think, thank you everyone for turning up to remember that I'm loved, and then it's my choice to accept the gift of what every brother has to offer me. And it's just like, wow, thank you, Jesus. And then you can even then you go even beyond that. And Jesus says, well, that's nothing. Let's go into the unknown and I'll show you some more. I'll show you some more miracles.
yeah,
And to really see that it's not that it's not real. And that's the beautiful thing, yeah. It is. We have to see this fear trick, you know. And it's like it gives us these little steps. Of, like it might be a little bit fearful to you to come to Spain. You might feel that, and you might be put off by that a little bit. But underneath it, there's also this excitement in you. Like you're feeling the bug. I'm a little bit nervous, but I'm also a little bit excited. And it's like go with the excitement because believe you and me, something is calling you. And I've had that. Oh, I'm a little bit frightened of this, but yeah, I took those steps, and it's like with Jesus, He's teaching. You shared it the other day. There's nothing to fear. Yeah. Our mind is completely crazy. It's just reminded me when I very first came to Mexico, I'd literally handed over my life now. Said, I am done. God has convinced me. There's nothing here for you. I mean, believe you me, it's a desert. There's nothing other than the love of God. And if you're not sharing the love of God, I don't know what you're sharing. To be honest, this is everything to me. Yeah. Well, I get on my plane. Right, that's it. I'm fully in. Yeah. I get on the plane. I'm going to Mexico. Yeah. And it was all the time of the terrorist bombings and all that lot. And I'm sitting on the plane. Okay. Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. But obviously, my attack thoughts were there. Right, this person, they go, all of a sudden, there's a thing across the bow. We're just sitting on the plane, and it goes bing, bong, bong. They speak in Spanish, and the person next to me goes, like this, what the hell's going on, right? Luckily, I had the Course in Miracles in front of me, right? She spoke English and Spanish, and I said, what did they just say? They said, a man has just come onto the plane, put a bag on it, and it could be a bomb. Oh my God.
That's
She,
what
she
they
gets
told
up to
you.
get her stuff. Right, and I sat. I thought, oh my God, this is the end. You know, this can't be the end, can it? Surely. I put my hand on the book. I said, okay, Jesus, I need an answer for this. I sat there. I put my hand on the book. Okay, Jesus, help me out here. I undo the book. Lesson 48. There is nothing to fear.
Fear.
Right?
Oh,
And, what an answer, Ray, in that moment. He's always
yeah.
there. Okay,
Yeah.
I know you're frightened, Kenneth. I've got you. There's nothing to fear. As soon as I read that, there is nothing to fear. They went bing, bong, bong. Oh, sorry, everyone. We made a mistake. The husband was just bringing the bags down because his wife is in a wheelchair. Let's get back to the flight, everyone.
Oh my gosh. There it is. Which will it be, love or fear?
Love or fear? What do you want? You've got to
Yeah.
change your mind.
Yeah. 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 You know, it's funny you were talking about the kind of the vitality and the energy in Europe now because you've just come from there and you can feel it. It's palpable. It reminded me a little bit of that movie that we watched, Jesus Revolution, that happened in the United States with Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen, who plays Jesus. He was in the movie playing Lonnie, and Lonnie Frisbee wasn't it something like that?
Yeah.
And basically, and Kelsey Grammer playing a minister. And it seems like I remember several years ago, a long time ago, I had a Yahoo group at the very beginning. I was putting messages on called Awakening in Christ, but there was some kind of an awakening in Christ, big revival happening at a stadium in Germany. And I remember reading about it, and I thought, wow, they were saying that actually Hitler had built this stadium, and now there was this big, huge revival where people were coming over from all parts of the world to fill up the stadium in a revival for Jesus with famous singers and gospel singers and all focusing their mind on Jesus. And that's kind of the feel I have. I mean, every time I've gone to Europe, there's been some kind of big symbol. One year I went to Europe, and that was when the Pope was resigning, and they were going to elect a new Pope, and then the Cardinal from South America, from Argentina, who became Saint Pope Francis. You know, this white smoke came out while I was over there. And another time I went there, and I was in Europe traveling, and they published a paper that scientists in that's in CERN, that particle accelerator, had discovered the God particle. And the whole thing came out when I was over there about the God particle, because it existed everywhere in the cosmos. And one time I was in Spain, actually, and the Euro Cup was going on. I was going to all these different countries. I was in Germany, I was in all these countries, and everybody was glued to the TV set because their teams were playing in the Euro Cup, the big soccer thing, like the World Cup, but for Europe. And then I just was noticing, and I would let Jesus bring it into my talks occasionally, and because it was the big thing happening. And then on my final gathering, I was on a rooftop outside of Madrid, and I spoke the final word of my final gathering of this whole tour of Europe. And as soon as I said thank you, it was the very last word, the whole place, Spain erupted, because Spain had won the Euro Cup. And I looked over the roof, and there was people with the painted faces of yellow and bright red, and racing through the streets. And I went, oh, no, thank you. That's a fitting way to end a whole tour of teaching the Gospels, teaching Course in Miracles, teaching how to live the joy of Christ, and a big celebration. It just, the timing of it, it just shows you it's our mind. There's no way that, some people could say that was a big coincidence. I say, well, yeah, I used to believe in coincidences, but now, like Einstein said, two ways to look at this world: either everything is a miracle or nothing is a miracle. When Albert Einstein says that, and he was tuned in to God in a way that most people don't even understand, because he had such a passion to find the truth. It just kept pulling him into these huge discoveries that were just showing us kind of the quantum realm and the energy that's there in tiny spaces, much tinier than humans are accustomed to. So I feel like I just expect miracles, and when I hop on the plane, and in mid-October, I'm just going to go there and expect miracles. And here we come, Spain. And let's light the mind up. What else is there to do but be in the Christ mind and light the everything up, light the mind up.
Be of good cheer, I have overcome the world.
Yes. That's it. Hallelujah.
That's where you're going.
Yeah, that's it. Be of good cheer. I love that. Yeah, I love that. Well, thank you. Thank you so much,
David.
Kenneth. And I know you have a lot of beautiful friends, and I have a lot of beautiful friends in Europe, and they're so dear in our heart, and it just felt like a perfect idea. Thank you for your idea for this. I had the idea several days ago, and I thought, I'll leave it to you, Jesus, and then here it is.
Here it is. That's
bingo.
It's the same. Just listening in. I need to have a live with David. I have no idea what we're going to talk about.
Yeah. We always have fun on our lives. Whatever we do, whenever we come together in any way, shape, or form, it's a lot of energy. So
it is.
Well, thank you, Kenneth, and thank you to everyone for tuning in. And we love you, and God bless you.
Bye for now.